My name's Ryan McMurray, or WWLOS. I am 23. I come from Frisco, Texas, and I play for Team Vicious Syndicate.
My name's Sebastian Engwall. I come from Sweden, and I play for Root Gaming.
If I won the finals and the $10,000, that'd be incredible for me. I just graduated from school 30 days ago, University of Oklahoma, with a screenwriting degree. I think everyone here in Burbank knows how difficult it is to have a career out of that. So money like that right out of the gate would be really good for me.
I would probably not do too much with it. I'd save a lot of it, and I'd probably actually invest in cards on the Asia server so I can ladder there and get easier World Championship points.
I don't have like the really aesthetic accomplishments that everyone else has here, but where I lack in that, I am better in tournament strategy and preparation. I'm not a ladder hero, but I expertise in just joining any tournament possible and showing my skill in that way.
I don't think I'm too scared of anyone. I have a fairly good idea of what everyone's going to be playing.
This competition is fantastic. All 16 are incredibly tough opponents that I'm looking forward to play. I mean, my group in particular is really strong, and I'm really looking forward to playing Ostkaka and Reynad and Roger one way or another and getting my way to the main group.
But I'd say Life Coach is one of the people who is going to be performing the best at the tournament because he has like a really analytical way of doing things, and he'll just, if he has enough time, he'll always do things right.
Ostkaka is a really good player. Last I knew, he's still living. I mean, he's living in the gaming house for Root, and if you live, sleep, and breathe Hearthstone, then you're obviously going to be a good player.
He's actually the player I know the least about in the entire tournament, so I actually have no information on him.
But I've played him on ladder a few times, and I think I've beaten him every time. He might say something different, but I think my chances are good.
Very interesting stuff. We have Chalky here joining us at the caster's bench. Now we got to see a little bit more of WWLOS. He has played on the ESL series. That's why he's here, of course. But the world gets to see a little bit more of the better Hearthstone players out there. Though I have to root for my boy Ostkaka. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty good friends with Ostkaka. I'm cheering for him in this match. I do think WWLOS, though, is kind of one of the bigger underdog stories of the tournament. Like we've talked about, not a lot of people know about him. He says that he's been grinding tournaments for a while, and this is pretty much his big first breakthrough, so really wanting to prove something here.
Well, each player bringing one of the two Hunter or Grim Patron options. Ostkaka not choosing to go with Hunter. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I actually talked to Ostkaka a bit about his deck choices, and he picked Rogue over Hunter, I believe. And he thinks that Rogue and Hunter were close for third place. So he actually values his other two decks above that.
I believe it was a Warlock?
Is a Warlock deck.
Okay.
Which I won't disclose what Warlock deck it is yet, but we'll probably get to see it. And the other one is indeed Grim Patron Warrior.
Whoa!
Whoa, Feign Death.
Okay.
Whoa, yeah.
That is a crazy tech card.
Now, I actually have some experience with Feign Death Hunter.
Me too.
Yeah. The problem with it is you kind of need multiple creatures out at the same time, which usually, as a hunter, is a situation you have already won.
It's worst matchup if he's running like a really slow deck is Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is actually the worst matchup.
Rogue wins the game by not letting you have anything.
Right.
They just kill everything.
Yeah.
The pleasure is mine.
And there's a sap in Ostkaka's hand, so if this is truly a really slow hunter deck, he will struggle. The Rogue can kind of fall apart on its own sometimes.
Yeah.
If you get like a really weak draw, no draw cards.
Yeah, too many like half combos and no draws.
Yep.
Yeah.
Double prep is usually one of the draws that can fall apart.
Yeah, or double backstab. Just anything that costs 0. Like, you know you're in a bad spot if you can play your entire hand by like turn 3.
It's happened to you a lot, Firebat?
Yeah, I play a lot of Rogue. It's my favorite class, and that's just one of the downsides of it.
Yeah. Judging by how slow the Hunter deck is, I think he definitely freezing trap here. WWLOS definitely kind of just waiting around a bit.
Go from the web spinner to each of the cards to the catapult.
Yeah, gotta load the catapult for later.
I like the
launch it.
freezing trap here. We saw that play earlier done by Kabi, and it sort of bluffed snakes, and it made the rogue opponent coin SI instead of just daggering down the web spinner.
I don't think this is as big of a bluff this time as it is just this is kind of his play.
Decision.
Well, since he wants to bow next turn, and
Yeah.
hopefully he draws into a 4,
Yeah.
and he's going to Belcher on 5, he's basically realizing he probably won't have time for this freezing trap, and his deck isn't as based on damage from the hero power.
Yeah.
But I feel being the bad matchup that it is, maybe it has to become that.
If this is a mind game, basically the mind game is, as Ostkaka said, he knows nothing about WWLOS.
Yeah.
Can you really
or maybe
read your
even Feign
opponent?
Death Hunter.
Can you read your opponent and say, like, does he have Snake Trap? Like, would he be that type of person? We haven't
Yeah.
seen a single Snake Trap all tournament.
Yeah.
Very unpopular choice.
It's a decent card, though.
Yeah.
When you get them with it, with the surprise, insanely powerful.
Similar to Misdirect, but it's less chance to be completely useless.
But
not
Ostkaka,
gonna work.
yeah, Ostkaka's a very mathematical player, and he's going to take chances like that where the odds are in his favor there.
Direwolf Alpha is pretty good with Unleash, by the way.
It is.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's
But
like second to Juggler.
how often does Rogue build a board? Unless they're running Violet Teacher, they're probably not going to have more than 2 minions out on the board at all times.
Unleash. Oh. I wonder if Unleash is playable. Is it playable at 0 creatures?
No,
No.
I thought it was.
no, it's not.
It was
I
before. at
played a
some
lot
point.
of Hunter. Yeah, it was before it got
Oh,
nerfed.
they nerfed it to make it so
Yeah.
you can't play it.
It is,
can't,
it is a
you
nerf.
can't
in some,
buff your mana
in some
addict.
situations.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
buff your mana addict off Shredder.
Or you might
Wild
have,
Pyromancer.
I didn't get lethal from that
Yeah.
once. I was
But you-
mad.
like playing Feign Death Hunter, you may have Sylvanas a Flame Waker.
Oh, crazy.
Crazy stuff.
Blizzard, please. So both players very much taking their time. Don't want to like give away that, because if we look at WWLOS's hand, every single play he's made is like extremely obvious.
Yeah.
But he wants to kind of make it seem like, you know, he's got all the options in the world, and there's a turn 4 Shredder.
It's a really good
However,
draw here.
since he attacked the face with the bow, he can't bow off this 3/3 really without giving up his entire bow.
But
That's okay, though.
Does he want to? Maybe he just
Like a-
wants to let
he
it
could
get
freeze
frozen.
5 mana aside is okay.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He basically is committed to freezing it right now, which is fine, but
I mean, really, the outcome of the following turns is going to be what comes out of the Shredder, because the Shredder is going to die to the spell damage backstab, and if Ostkaka is able to kill what comes out with his dagger,
that'd
that's
be
a really
huge.
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare you get a 1 health off of
I
Shredder.
don't think it's that rare.
There's like
pretty
Bluegill
low
Warrior.
percent.
There's
the
like 1 in 5 or
4/1.
so.
1
It's
in
gotta be
5?
less than 1 in 5.
Yeah, I think it's less than 1 in 5. So he will give up the bow,
Wow.
which means he basically lost a charge because he valued the 3 damage, and it almost seems to me like he might be playing around Harrison Jones,
Okay.
which we've seen be a very popular tech choice
So
in
far.
this
Yeah.
tournament.
It's been in most decks so far. But, he's going to go for the Drake.
And there's the double prep hand we talked about, where with 2 mana spells, prep's not very great. And
Minibot is rough.
that's not a 1 health minion. But he's going to have a nice flurry coming up.
Wow, another Shredder. That's pretty good. I think you do just Belcher here, though, just for.
I don't think there's any other
efficiency.
option. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at the board there.
Yeah.
You
There's
really want to
nothing
stick to your
close.
mana
Yeah.
with this deck.
Yeah, it's Hunter. Generally, you play all your mana and then you hit them in the face, right?
Yeah, but
Right.
with
This
Feign
deck's-
Death Hunter, that just like very rarely.
Well, right, but it's still the same concept of you just have a few more tricks of like Sylvanas or
I think the main trick is that you are playing Feign Death Hunter.
That is a
pretty
little
tricky.
strange.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at this stage, Ostkaka might be okay. Belcher, that's kind of interesting, but like, you know,
yeah. If
until Sylvanas comes down, you really don't know what's
Yeah,
going
even
on.
Sylvanas-
Even Sylvanas, you're like, he's
Sometimes-
probably not playing
that's
Feign
like a
Death.
tech choice kind
Okay.
of. You're just
Yeah.
like, okay, very slow hunter.
The thing is, like, if you're playing Feign Death Hunter, you play Sylvanas and it's alive for 1
Yeah.
turn, things goes really badly for your opponent suddenly.
Yeah.
I think if he was playing something like Sneed's Old Shredder, that would definitely give it away.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
I mean-
interesting, though, because, like, this the Feign Death Hunter, as the tournament goes on, is going to lose value.
Right.
Considerably.
If
Immediately. Like, next match is going to be
Yeah.
way worse.
Yeah.
Right. No one's made the decision that Feign Death Hunter was just stronger overall, like it's the best version. No one has made that decision, so I have to assume that WWLOS basically decided he wanted a bit of a surprise factor.
I also think that people have generally decided that Hunter,
You're right.
just being Hunter,
There
is pretty good.
There is
Pretty
merit
good.
in just having the Hunter class. It's a very aggressive class no matter what cards you put in it, and it's got just naturally good matchups.
I don't like the attack here.
I guess he's trying to proc the trap before the second bow comes out, because the way he used the bow, he assumes he probably has another one.
That kind of makes
Oh,
sense.
Okay.
I don't like it if he has maybe a Southsea deckhand in his deck, but we can't know that quite yet.
Maybe you have some options. Oh,
Yeah.
guess not.
Well, Sylvanas is weak to just clear, and it's also a little weak to sap. So something like Shredder Hero Power gets the damage in.
I was thinking Shredder Direwolf, but I guess Direwolf is really good with Unleash, but then we talked about Unleash just not very good overall.
Yeah. I think Shredder Direwolf's a little weak to like a Blade Flurry.
Yeah, it's sort of an overcommitment.
Yeah.
And the hero power, just getting the 2 damage in is quite worth it now.
It's basically equivalent to the Direwolf damage, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your opponent's already down to 16. You got Unleash and Kill Command in hand. You might not even need to show that you're Feign Death Hunter.
And again, Ostkaka not.
But that
Not
wouldn't
drawing
matter
well.
because if you win, you
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
to play it again
Yeah, and
anyway.
his opponents
your opponents absolutely
saw-
know what you're playing now.
Yeah. But still, it's kind of funny. You bring all these crazy tech cards, and then you just win because you're Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just playing those Hunter
Basically back to
cards.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Back to the basics.
Actually, the funny thing is when I first started playing Hearthstone, I was just playing the base decks. I'm like, I'll leave the deck building to other people for the first week. And the base Hunter deck just beat everyone. It's the best base
Those
deck.
Bloodfin Raptors, man.
Yeah.
2 damage adds up after a while.
Oh,
Life
hello.
Juggler.
That's a
You
good
have
one.
to deadly that off, or you could oil, but
He's been getting really good shredders.
Yeah.
Minibot and Knife Juggler.
yep.
Not bad.
Both
And a
above
good web
average.
spinner, too.
Yeah. And Ostkaka's sitting here with both these preps, unable to really interact
Yeah.
with them.
Huffer? This would be a great Huffer.
Yeah.
Be the best Hunter.
Nope.
No. We've seen a lot of Mishas today.
I think it's still like the Dire Doggy. It's just mana
Yeah.
efficient. It's not going to be that useful later on.
Yeah, he's gonna have Unleash to proc the kill command. 'Cause your opponent has to play minion sometime,
Yeah.
and I think you're gonna see the Azure Drake hit the board again this turn.
You think so?
Yeah, he's got to draw another card.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, that's a good card to get.
Yeah, that one.
that's a good one. So this is basically the start of the comeback for
Do you
the Rogue.
consider burning your dagger charge? Yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
At this
You have
point, you're
oil.
not attacking into a creature ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has two. He really wants to oil pretty soon, and at this point, you're also racing because. Oh wow, that's
Lothab's
a really good draw.
Yeah. Rogues can't really interact with Lothab too well, and you get to squeeze in another hero power and
I
wait a
think
turn.
that
Yeah, but
has to be the play.
You have to hero power. Like, whatever you have to hero power this turn.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the next turn you can do.
You can almost set up lethal, basically.
Actually, it's a 10 mana. to do-
Especially with the
do nine.
Lothab. Like, yeah, you can't not do that.
Mhm.
So, but WWLOS sees it, so easy play.
Well, you can do a 7 mana sap here.
Yeah, now that's like, well, laugh, but what else is there?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
do you fan and trade?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Probably the
I think
play.
fan and trade is
That's
the play.
what you got to do.
Yep.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that play.
Whoa.
WWLOS has 7 in hand, and he's just gonna like play Sylvanas Hero Power, put him to 7. And Ostkaka has to deal with Sylvanas and draw a heal. So yeah, he's gonna make that
Are
play.
you a fan of that draw?
Oh wow. This game is just so over.
Yeah, Dr. Boom's pretty good.
Yeah.
When you play Dr. Boom on an empty board as a Hunter player while knocking your opponent
Feign Death
down
Boombox.
Yeah.
to 7,
And here comes a fan and I've suicide turn.
Yeah,
pretty good.
that's what's happening.
I mean, if you're a fan of Suicide, it's pretty fantastic.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
All right. Well, all options are absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And I think all options include Sap Dr. Boom, which is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the main issue for Ostkaka here is you don't have a winning line. Like, there's not even a chance, really, because how do you deal 21?
I think you have to Fan of Knives, develop the Blood Mage after Fan of Knives, so you
And then
can,
prep
so you
oil.
can, yeah, and then do the oil.
So you have to take one from each boom bot.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, I mean, that's pretty realistic. Like, you have to go for, like, the most optimistic play you can think of.
Yeah.
And this worked out pretty well for him. I mean, we know he's dead, but
Yeah, he probably knows he's dead too.
yeah, of course. Even just replaying Dr. Boom
Yeah.
with one.
He can't deal with Dr. Boom Boombots again.
It seems like a pretty good Hunter deck. I think it might even just be one Feign Death.
Yeah.
And no Sneeds shenanigans, just puts it
Right.
basically hybrid style.
He just kind
Yeah.
of put one Feign Death in as, like, a surprise.
And then just the Sylvanas.
Yeah.
It works
Yeah.
really well with the Sylvanas as kind of a gotcha. I mean,
I like it.
as a player, you can't really respect that too much. I mean, if it's one copy of each card in a hunter match, like, you have to worry about dying, not getting mind controlled. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Feign Death
Definitely.
Sylvanas
Yeah.
or something crazy. But still very, very strong stuff. I think WWLOS not only played well, but I think he did a very nice job on the mind games, very nice job on easing into the game, you know.
right.
Yeah. He played really slow, which is good. A lot of new players tend to get in there and they're really jumpy
Yeah.
and they go really quick. He was slowed down. He seemed really calm. He took a lot of time on turns. Like, he had one play and he still took quite a bit of time just to do that one play, just to relax.
On the subject, there's even level worse than that. There's the, you choreograph every single play you're about to make. We don't see that in tournaments much these days.
It used to be, though.
It used to be.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into the next game here in just a second. Ostkaka dropping the Rogue match. I guess we can expect him to keep the Rogue?
No.
No?
I think he'll roll a dice, so I'd say.
You think so? He's that kind of
Something
guy?
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that kind of guy.
He's the
Okay.
dice guy.
Rogue.
No, he's keeping
Well,
Rogue.
it was the 1 out of 3, I'd
Yeah.
say, actually.
Against Druid, that seems relatively even, though, doesn't it?
No.
No?
Rogue crushes Druid. They're going to need, like, the Dream Start or something to really seal it out.
I
or,
feel
like,
like
a Lothab on curve.
Yeah, but if the Druid gets the Dream Start, or if the Rogue just gets a bad hand,
Right,
Yeah.
but Dream Start and Bad
I think
Hands
those
don't make
two,
up
yeah, those
50%.
right.
I don't think it's 50-50.
No,
though.
I'm saying they don't make up 50%.
Yeah, they don't make
It
50%.
makes maybe like 40%. But
Yeah. I feel very, very comfortable as the Rogue, as long as I eventually draw Blade Flurry, and my hand isn't just
Yeah.
double Blade Flurry, I guess, in the
Right.
beginning. Because Blade Flurry is really, really, really effective against Druid minions, just clearing a whole board of 6 health minions, basically.
now,
Yeah.
going back to Ostkaka's original week in ESL, he went 0-6 actually. He won in the Redemption tournament. And one of the 0-3 matches was all Rogue matches where he drew just terrible and got Lothab on 5 every game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So,
happened to me before. I know what that's
Maybe
like.
some flashbacks
Like
in,
this
in
year,
his mind right now.
I feel like Druid just having Wild Growth is going to do fine.
Yeah, Druid having Wild Growth brings the percentage up a bit, but I still think it's Rogue favored.
Even with Wild Growth start?
Even with Wild Growth.
Well, we can see it's probably a more taunt-heavy Druid as well.
Well, unless that's just the surprise factor. Maybe it's like
The one
the
Ancient
Feign Death.
War,
He's just
yeah.
normal
Maybe.
Druid, and there's just one Ancient War chilling.
What can you play around?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Wild Growth definitely going to help the Druid.
Seems like
The
the
Rogue got
one
the
of
coin,
right
though.
now. You see the Shade of Nax and the Savage Roar does seem to indicate it's still a fairly standard Druid list.
Right.
There's that Blade Flurry, but with a Sprint.
Yeah.
Sprint basically guarantees that as long as he lives for a while, he's not just going to draw dead like last game.
It looks pretty bad right now, though, doesn't it?
You have quite a bit of time.
Yeah. As long as he hits a 4-drop, he's totally fine.
Yeah.
The best cards against Druid would be like Violet Teacher if he runs it, or Shredder, and then just like Prep. Because if you're able to get any sort of like 4-drop Prep Sap sort of play going, it's usually just game over because you can ride off that tempo for the rest of the match.
Well, right now it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Rogue Hero Power is one of the better ones when you have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like, daggering up on 2 is extremely standard, so...
Earthen Ring into Shredder into Lotheb is not a bad
nearly as bad as the Druid Hero Power.
Do you think the other ring's better than the Shredder here?
Well, if you do the Shredder now, then what are you doing next turn? The Earthen Ring?
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel a little weird?
It does, but I feel if you play the Shredder, it might actually like warrant out the attack, perhaps.
Well,
No.
we know it just worn out of Wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, your opponent's definitely not trading into your Farseer ever.
The coin's very powerful. I don't feel like just pushing out the Shredder a turn earlier than to fall back on the play you were going to do anyway.
WWLOS drawn pretty well here.
Yeah, he's definitely going to play on curve with that Druid, I think. It's not worth Wrath Hero Powering.
Yeah. Just taunt up the Druid
Yeah.
of the Claw.
Yep.
Wrath's one of those cards where you just try and like fit it in when you don't have anything else to do, really.
Yeah. Definitely fine later in the game, too, against Rogue, because you always want to keep their board clear.
Ooh. Pressure of the Earthen Ring is too much.
So, defensive play.
Yeah.
And we've noticed this from quite a few of the newer players. They'd rather play around stuff than...
Well, what is he playing around?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing.
Well, Blade Flurry. Deadly Poison Blade Flurry. If
Right.
he taunts up the Druid of the Claw.
Right. Also, something like a Prep Oil Blade Flurry even would leave him with a 6/3, clears board. He'd take 10.
Yeah.
So it's a scary
how do
prospect
you,
to just
like-
leave rogue minions up.
Yeah, but how do you always play around a weapon buff and Blade Flurry?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you gotta go for it.
Yeah, obviously,
Exactly.
But,
And I would have liked to see him go for
Yeah.
it right then because...
but he is running Ancient of Wars, so that's
Like, what-
something to note. Maybe he's extra defensive because of that.
Well, the thing that I'm thinking about is that the main thing to play around is like a sap, but if you get a Druid of the Claw sap, then your 7-drop might actually stick.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
You're happy getting
Yeah.
your 5-drop sapped when you play Ancient War.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just
Okay.
trying to say, like, maybe that's what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What do you think about Harrison Jones here?
Yeah, a lot of people... You can't really be greedy Harrison Jonesing against Rogue. You have to just sometimes take their 2-charge, 1-attack dagger. It sets them 2 mana behind in tempo. You get 2 cards, which
Yeah.
as Druid is really important.
The main issue is that it just dies the Shredder.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's thinking about. And so basically the problem with his play last turn, this plays around Deadly Flurry now, which, as a matter of fact, he has. So
Yeah.
he can still clear with the Deadly Flurry Phantom Knives if he wanted to get rid of everything. But
Seems a bit excessive.
yeah, he might go with something like a sap play because he's not aware the WWLOS plays Ancient Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some chance he might do the trade SI now.
It looks like he's setting up for the Flurry.
Yeah.
Or going with just an SI. Nope,
No, it is Flurry.
just the Flurry.
Wow.
Yep, so just aggressively taking control of the board. He's got a sap to deal with whatever comes out next. Now Harrison Jones isn't nearly as good. But we might just see like Ancient of War here.
The main problem with Sap is he has nothing to play it with.
Yeah, I mean SI Agent is okay.
Yeah, this isn't really an ideal situation for like lore. Generally, you want to play lore when you're ahead in tempo and out of cards.
Yep.
And right now, he is behind in tempo and even in cards. So the card advantage doesn't really help him unless he gets Innervate or something to help him catch
Yeah.
back up on the board.
The ideal turn here would have been if Ostkaka still had a dagger, Harrison Wrath,
Yeah.
but obviously cannot do that.
So what do? Do you take the risk with Ancient of War, or do you draw the cards?
Yeah, I think I'd probably
think
just throw out the War.
I think the card draw turns out to be better, though.
Yeah, definitely since he has the sap.
Yeah,
Because you can't really sap a lore. And he actually doesn't have like an Eviscerate here.
It is going to be the SI coming down, though, I believe.
maybe even both of them.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing both of them and putting maybe 2 damage on the lore and then just swinging face,
Face, yep.
putting the pressure on them.
Druid doesn't really have a way to punish you for not doing trades.
Yeah.
They can't kill 3 health targets.
Mm-hmm. Spell Power Starfall.
Got him.
Yep.
But looks like he's going to go with slightly
He's gonna take the trade, and then SI. Very defensive.
If I was playing this game, I think that's what I would have done. But I kind of like what you guys were saying a bit better.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you guys are right. Like, there's not much a druid can do to come back from that. You could sneak in some damage.
I feel like the only thing they could do to punish you is just swing for your face with their Ancient Lore, and then you have to trade in eventually anyway.
Or it could have been, you know, a double innervate, double combo. Lethal.
Something like that.
That could have happened.
It's happened before.
Sure.
But no swipe
Actually, that would have been lethal.
makes things awkward
That would
for
have been-
WWLOS.
That would have been 31.
Oh, man.
I don't think it's realistic to play around that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, most defensive line, I guess, is Belcher Wrath.
Belcher Wrath, yep. Seems pretty good to me.
Now, do you kill Ship's Cannon in fear of South Sea Deckhand?
Nah.
Oh, just gonna go. So he's looking to get a swing turn next turn with Ancient War Wrath.
No, I feel like if you do this, you just force out the sap,
Yeah.
Right.
which is
That's
what he
the
wants.
hope.
Yeah.
And then next turn he wants
But
the
I don't
wrath.
think that's gonna happen. I think he can just clear with maybe something like Backstab, Eviscerate, and play a Loatheb. That would be really huge for Ostkaka here. It would deny the Wrath next turn,
Yeah.
and it saves his sap. He'll just go for the sap.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, because he doesn't expect the Ancient War from his opponent.
Which is a reasonable expectation
Right,
so far.
yeah.
He's played every single typical druid card so far.
Right, there's no way you just call, you know, blindly that your opponent has Ancient Wars.
But here they are.
And yet, here they are. Backstab, Eviscerate, SI, and you can trade in the Ship's Cannon.
He has a really
get
good follow-up
through
to this Ancient of War, though. It's the other Ancient of War.
Right.
Yeah.
Once you know
That's
your
one of the
opponent,
best follow-ups.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Wow,
excellent.
That is
That's a lot
pretty good.
Yeah, he can just lose the ship's cannon here.
Yep. He could have done that with the SI as well, but developing the Drake is obviously more mana efficient and gives you more draw. So yeah, now WWLOS basically knows there's no sap, and he doesn't feel great being
Yeah.
at 12, but
But he's not out of it.
right, he can have a bit of a swing turn here, or he could just go for a lot of clearing.
He can clear everything.
Yeah,
Right.
you could kill all of it.
I think I might like that more.
Yeah, I think I like to clear everything. It's,
And then you put up taunts.
like you're just not going to get that much value from swipes.
12 from hand from 3 cards is pretty hard.
I think you might even just Wrath here to save the life.
Yeah. I would like that too. He's really looking to draw Innervate. That way he can have a really huge turn with War Innervate Sludge Belcher or War Innervate Harrison.
Wow,
Minion
with the
again.
Shredder here, do you sprint? I think you do.
No. You
No.
develop the minions first.
You
You
have
have
to.
minion, dagger, and you hit with the dagger. Take him to 9, get him really low.
Oh, that's right. And then you
Then
if
sprint
you
into the
really
sap.
need
Into
the
the
sap,
sap,
then
yeah.
then you try to sprint to it.
You always do the minions first,
Okay,
and then
he's gonna
sprint
hold
last.
the dagger in preparation for maybe another oil, another deadly. And there's that Innervate. So cycling ended up paying off, and he could get off potentially a Harrison Jones Innervate Ancient War.
That does make it so a sprint combo with maybe Prep Blade Flurry is a bit more unlikely.
Yeah, definitely a lot more unlikely.
So Ostkaka's gonna need a sap and more.
Yeah, Edwin is no
You
help.
definitely just start with sprint.
Yeah.
Sap being the best draw in the deck. Nope. Can get through it and push
Yeah.
3 damage to face. He goes really low doing that.
Yeah, and you have to be always afraid of the combo on the backlash.
Yep. Which, it's interesting to note, WWLOS has drawn a lot of cards this game. Still no combo.
Yeah, maybe he's only running 1 copy, and that's why he was able to squeeze in the
Right.
Ancient Wars.
I think you have to go for it. It's
Yeah, you do put your
Some-
opponent to 4.
some not so great Blade Flurry combo or nothing.
Yeah. The only unfortunate part is your opponent's Harrison Jones survives at a 5-1. But it's going to go for Edwin, it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to try and make a bigger Blade Flurry next turn to be able to kill his opponent.
Yep. Double Belcher, though.
Yeah.
That's
How much
a
damage
lot
is
to
that?
get through.
15, 15, that's 17 damage.
Yep, 17. 19 with the Keeper.
What?
I think it's got to be a double Belcher.
Yeah.
And you got to trade.
He's still a little bit afraid because something like Deadly Oil Flurry Abyss.
Yeah, you
Would
just kill
get
him through
him.
taunts.
Yeah. And I mean, the chances your opponent got that off of their past 5-6 draws,
I wonder.
not too high, but
Definitely a percentage.
definitely a percentage above 0.
Yeah.
Maybe if you make the absolute safest play, I think you're still pretty fine. Like if you silence the Shredder and play the Belcher and trade your Harrison.
I think you can just double Belcher. Sets up even more taunt.
Yeah, I think double Belcher's fine.
And he's probably going to do some trading.
Yeah, and you just leave the Shredder as the only minion alive.
Yep. So Ostkaka will need some help. Oil would have been great. But I don't think oil would have been enough, because then the slimes are the issue.
Well, you can Blade through their whole board with the spell damage.
It would only do 4,
it's only
and then
4.
he could
No, it would be
he could fan
Drake
for 2.
Yeah, Drake,
yeah.
Prep,
So that
Fan,
would-
and Knives, and then Blade 3 combo.
That would basically clear everything.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
And the second prep's actually a really good draw with that sprint in hand. And that's 1 off.
Yeah, 1 damage off
Yep.
lethal there. He trades in the Shredder and gets Kobold Geomancer.
Is there any way this is lethal? Probably not.
No.
No. So he's 1 off lethal here.
He's not
And-
even dead to combo though, so he's
Yeah.
in a really good spot now.
Suddenly, just great spot with that Drake top deck.
Oh,
And
guess
now,
you lose.
yeah, if you're double OS, you're just out of taunts all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So potentially that keeper play last turn to save a taunt
Might have been better.
might have been better to play around the flurry. Wow. If you were double OS, you're probably feeling pretty good about this game last turn.
No, not at all.
Not at
Yeah.
all now, yep.
That's what I was saying.
What does it actually take to win here? Like Doomsayer.
Yeah.
Even that, your
I
opponent
must
just sprints,
safeguard the
and they're ahead on tempo again.
I must safeguard the land.
Yeah, I think he's going to hope he doesn't have 3 damage, which is
Very optimistic.
very ambitious.
Yeah. And of course Ostkaka does. Of course Ostkaka's going to tie it up here.
Yeah,
No, we get to see what kind of player he is. Is he going to go for the prep sprint first?
they're just going for exact with the dagger.
He's a very precise player.
Right.
Which is true, actually. Ostkaka's like very mathematical and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. You learn so much about players seeing how they kill
Yeah.
people.
He actually showed me.
I always go for the BM.
He showed me how he came to the conclusion that these were the best decks. He did research on all of his opponents, basically did the averages on which decks had the highest win percentages. They were all very close, around like 54, 55%,
Okay.
and just decided to kind of mix that with what his comfort decks were. He really liked Rogue, and he ended up taking that over Hunter.
Yeah, usually when, like, on the start of a tournament, you know, players talk about, it's like, this is the best thing, this is the best thing. And at the end of the tournament, you know, people do the statistics, and, you know, ended up like Shaman or something had the highest win rate. It's like, people brought Shaman to the tournament? It's like, yeah, they did, and did
Yeah.
pretty well. So, you know, having an impression about things and actually seeing what the results ended up being, experience has shown that's always been different.
Well, yeah, but you have to factor in also that all the players are teching for what
Right.
they think the best decks are,
Right.
and nobody's teching for Shaman.
Right.
Like, nobody even has
Ever.
that on their radar at
yeah.
all.
Shaman's 0% this tournament. So
Yeah.
0%.
It's 0 for 3.
we're going to look for that to change later today. I know there's at least one more Shaman in the tournament, so not all hope is lost.
Well, the scores are tied 1-1. Both players Cunin and Warlock. So far, what we've seen from WWLOS has been some unusual flavor in each deck.
Right.
So let's see what he brings in this one. But we are expecting handlock from Ostkaka.
I'd expect handlock from probably both players. I don't know much about WWLOS, but handlock tends to be the more preferred deck in this meta.
I'm hoping we see Malagos.
Malagos would be very interesting. We haven't seen that all tournament.
I have not yet casted a Malagos Warlock so far, so I'm hoping this is the case.
It tends to be favored against handlock because they can't really, as long as you don't discard your Soulfire with Soulfire, but that's,
You have some experience with that.
yeah, that's like an 80% chance when you're playing a handlock variant.
Right.
So,
They are both indeed handlock.
Handlock or handlock variants.
right. I believe, is it Ostkaka on top?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Now, it's always fun to see like a turn 1 Watcher, turn 2 Silence the Watcher. Does that really give you much of an advantage in this matchup, though?
No. No, it's really bad. Basically, what
Yeah.
you're doing is you're just putting a 4/5 out there that is going to hit them in the face a bunch, then they're going to play Moltons and kill you.
Yeah.
So it's not very good.
Yeah, Life Coach, who has a lot of experience in this matchup, says you should never owl your Watcher.
Yeah,
Unless
Owl,
it's,
Ever?
unless it's lethal. Like, unless it's
Okay.
lethal, never.
yeah,
Wow.
Owl just gets so much utility for silencing things like Sylvanas, which is a huge deal in this matchup, or Twilight Drakes, or
Yeah.
silencing taunts to then push for lethal.
Yeah, it's interesting WWLOS is actually keeping a Watcher, and I think that's literally because going second, you need something to do on turn 3.
Yeah, otherwise you overdraw.
Otherwise, you overdraw.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, well, throw out a Watcher.
He ends up throwing it away, looking for something a little bit better.
And he got some better stuff.
Yeah.
Now, another thing I know is often the case is you very rarely end up coining a Drake unless you have another Drake.
Right.
It just makes it so it screws up your Giants and a lot of other plays in the next few turns.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you always want to get your Giant out first because it contests your opponent's Drakes usually pretty well.
Yeah.
Yep. So neither player having Big Game Hunter early on.
Power
And we
Overwhelming.
do
There's
see
that
the flavor.
That's
yeah.
the flavor.
Yeah. Power Overwhelming is really, really solid in this matchup. Just any burst at all, really
Yep.
good against handlock.
And again, Ostkaka doesn't know much about WWLOS. He's not
Now,
going to play around
Usually
this.
when you have Power Overwhelming, you have like something else that's a bit different.
Like
Like an
Arcane Golem.
arc or a Faceless, something
Yeah.
like that.
Usually,
Or
but
both.
I have seen. I believe I actually watched WWLOS play a match. It was just a show match, and he had Power Overwhelming, and we got about 25 cards deep. No other combo cards with it. It was just purely to
Just
Shadow
for
Flame, a
crazy
Power
Shadow
Overwhelming Watcher, or just for that extra damage reach.
He goes for the Coin Drake, which is really weird.
He does have a Big Game Hunter, so
Yeah.
he's potentially trying to just like bait out the Giant here and
I
try
can
and
see
take an
that.
early lead. But
I think he was just going to play Giant anyway.
yeah, it's interesting. It's going to set his Mountain Giant a little further back. But
But yeah, Ostkaka plays Giant here thinking, wow, he coined out the Drake, so now it's a 4/8. The Giant trades favorably with it. He plays the Giant. The Big Game Hunter is going to punish that.
It is kind of that play where, we talked about how you generally don't do that unless you have another Drake. Well, that's what Ostkaka might be assuming. Let's get another
Yeah.
Drake.
yeah,
Well, it's time to play Mountain Giant.
So many.
just owling here is actually pretty fine.
He's going to
It
go
would've
Owl
gotten
Dark
punished.
Bomb.
Yeah, he has to assume his opponent might have a Dark Bomb or a Coil.
Which he doesn't.
There's an Alexstrasza, which we haven't seen in a long time in this deck.
Wow. That's a fun card.
Yeah, Emperor is pretty good, especially with things like Alexstrasza and Power Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Mostly Power Overwhelming, because Power Overwhelming seems to be in the deck for that Shadow Flame, and it just makes it so much more dangerous when it costs even
Yeah,
less.
both of them are going to get reduced.
It's going to
and
be 3 mana to do this Shadow Flame combo.
Shadow Flame anything you want to clear your opponent's board.
crazy.
So many possibilities.
Even 8 mana through Lotheb, you can Watcher. I guess you can't play the Power Overwhelming
Right.
then,
Wow.
but
Ostkaka is really afraid of Big Game Hunter. Seems like he's sort of made the
depends on
read.
how many ticks you get off the Tharson. The Tharson can make a card negative mana,
yeah,
and when it gets Lothebbed, it just costs the same.
sick. Yeah, WWLOS full on cards now, so Needs to expend some stuff and try and take board control before this Emperor turn. He knows that Ostkaka already expended a Dark Bomb, which is one of the better ways to help deal with Emperor.
Yeah.
Because Handlock doesn't play much direct damage from hand or direct
I don't really like the
answer.
silence here. Like, you can just contest it as it is. You can silence it later if you want.
Yeah.
Like, if you get big game, then you just silence Shadow Flame.
Yeah, you do want to save your
Yeah,
Shadow
Shadow
Flames,
Flames
though,
late game.
for late game, especially with this Power Overwhelming. You're looking to really, as we saw like Kit Kats do in the Handlock Mirror yesterday, he saved Shadow Flame all the way until it was lethal, because it helps clear just like the Molten Taunt boards.
Yeah. Molten Shadow Flame is like one of the strongest plays Handlock can do in the Handlock Mirror.
Yep.
I think the main purpose of really getting this Owl out of his hand is so he can continue tapping later.
Yeah.
Because you really want to be constantly tapping to get yourself down into that Molten Giant range.
Yeah. You do have to continue to play a bunch of stuff.
Oh, he can clear.
Yeah. But if you're Ostkaka here, you do need to worry about Emperor. So you need to have a board that's threatening enough to be able to clear it next turn.
What do you think about just slamming down Sylvanas? Owl for Owl Sylvanas.
You could do that, actually. You've seen one Owl from your opponent, so it's pretty unlikely as the second, though with how kind of aggressively WWLOS played that, maybe he does have 2 Owls, if
Yeah.
you're thinking from Ostkaka's seat.
It's really hard to read when they play so aggressively like that.
And Sylvanas can also be one of those power cards late game, especially with Shadow Flame, where instead of letting your opponent have the option of how they want to deal with it,
Yeah.
you just instantly use it for the steal.
What's gonna be fun is if Alistraza and Powerwhelm both cost a lot less, Ostkaka might just surprise die.
Yeah, the OTK.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ostkaka decides to just play a giant and go face. Maybe even looking to bait out a Shadow Flame.
Yeah, it could be totally reasonable to Shadow Flame this board.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like it
I
either.
don't like it either.
But I'm like, I could see it. So
Yeah.
maybe he is trying to bait it.
I think that might be something that Ostkaka's thinking, you know, I don't know much about this guy. Maybe he'd make that play. I don't think it's a good play. Maybe I can just make my opponent make a mistake.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think that the Handlock Mirror is one of the most skill-based mirrors in the game.
Shields up!
And with the Power Overwhelming and the Shadow Flame, I agree with WWLOS pushing for a lot of damage here.
That's a decent Hellfire.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
really nice Hellfire. He can't really play anything after, though, besides
a Watcher.
a Watcher. Yeah, but what does that really do?
Yeah, it doesn't do much.
Make your opponent think.
Yeah,
Think about what?
think about playing Emperor Thorson.
Yeah.
That's what it makes him think about, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And he'd actually have no response. So as good as this Hellfire looks, Ostkaka's definitely thinking, where does it put me in this game? It puts me behind in initiative.
Well, he's already really behind.
Right, he is behind in initiative, so he's looking for a way to regain it. And I think what that tap was for,
Hellfire.
to see if he got anything better.
And he didn't.
No. Ragnaros, though, is an answered Emperor. That's
Yeah.
what comes down, but it can go horribly wrong if
It
it
did.
hits face.
Yeah, you definitely Emperor here, though.
Yep.
Not really much else to do.
Empty board, a lot of cards in hand.
Even after the Ragnaros, even if it hits the Emperor, you can steal it with the Sylvanas Power Overwhelming, potentially.
Yeah, but if it doesn't hit the Emperor, you lose. Because
Yeah.
of the Powerwhelming Sylvanas play.
Yep.
Mhm.
I was just thinking it could go terribly because if it hits the face, you enable Moltons, but yep,
Actually,
that
no,
would
wait.
be,
The Powerwhelming Sylvanas wouldn't be lethal.
yeah, it wouldn't steal it and
It wouldn't
shoot.
have
It doesn't
2
shoot.
end-of-turn triggers
Yeah,
separately.
So he'd have 9 damage. He'd need to find 4 more.
So many
Yeah,
possibilities.
stealing Rag is a lot worse when it doesn't shoot.
Yeah.
Wait a second, no, it would be
Can you,
lethal.
yeah, because
you can Shadow Flame it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
lethal,
Emperor.
that's-
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
Fun stuff.
Why wouldn't it be lethal? He Emperored. So Ostkaka's in a really bad spot.
I think he does have to rag. Which is terrible.
Yeah, that's not
It's
good.
really
but
bad.
I wonder.
But is there a better option than this terrible one?
I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you just slam Ragnaros. It's a 50-50 to not lose.
And still be in a bad spot.
Even if you're Ostkaka and you don't know you're dead, you still pretty much know you lose if it hits face. Like your opponent gets 2 Emperor activations, he kills your Rag somehow or steals it.
Yeah.
I wonder.
No, he's found a different line.
On another play. Okay.
Alright, so he's going to contest Emperor.
Yep.
Sets up his own lethal, too.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Seems like the same play is happening.
Uh,
Shadow Flame.
yeah, he only
Yeah.
has 9 damage right now, so not quite lethal.
I wonder.
Yeah, if you push this damage, how do you finish your opponent, though? So, like, what would be
Right.
the merits to doing the Sylvanas Shadow Flame? I mean, you get the Drake, which is cool. Your opponent probably doesn't have Moltons, judging by this play, I guess?
Yeah.
So maybe
Right.
that's the idea. Like, they don't have Moltons, so let's take this
So
opportunity to just go hard at them.
Possibilities.
What's better than the Sylvanas play? I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, he does struggle to deal with this Drake. And doing the Sylvanas play gives you another activation.
Do you necessarily need to Shadow Flame it?
You can Powerball on Mortal Coil or something if you want.
I mean, you could just, like, Sylvanas Belcher, too. Or no,
Power
you can't. No, you
Overwhelming
can't.
would give you an activation as well, right before it dies.
Yeah, yeah, the Shadow Flame is the only thing.
Yep, he's gonna go for that. And now Ostkaka, once again, in a terrible spot.
I do like to play over Ragnaros, though. I mean, we have to complement that a little bit.
Yeah.
It did set up
Set
a
up
feasible way to win the game.
Yeah.
Whereas Ragnaros was kind of like, you're not winning either way.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
and
that's pretty
Well,
good.
it's still that.
Yeah.
yeah, Emperor definitely the MVP of this game.
Yeah, wow. Really hard to deal with Emperor without a board as handlock.
Yeah, just enabled, you know, Sylvanas Shadow Flame, enabled crazy plays, and made Ostkaka bend over backwards just to not die.
Thing is, if you can do some play that doesn't involve Belcher or Healbot, you can do both next turn,
So
which will
many
kind of give you an option to come back in.
Yeah, but there's no other play that lets you live
Yeah.
without those.
Well, there's Ragnaros.
Yeah, but you're dead.
We know that wouldn't do anything. That might still be the play he ends up going with.
Yep.
Yeah.
There he goes.
I mean, he's been playing to win the whole time.
Again, setting up a, you know, very small % chance to win.
Yeah. Oh, and Leroy.
There is a Leroy.
Oh,
and that's,
no! That's the
actually
worst drop
really
possible.
relevant.
Yeah, he just revealed it to everybody else in the group.
Wow.
Hey guys, I'm playing Handlock. I got Leroy and Power Overwhelm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like you said, they usually do play something with power, and I guess in that show match I saw, he just didn't draw Leroy.
Just didn't draw it. Now we know. But it is fun. I mean, WWLOS is ahead again.
Yep.
And
There's one deck left.
He's playing some fun stuff. I like it. I mean, I really like to see just players bringing new things and bringing their own flavor to the game, and best of all, doing well with it.
Yeah.
So great stuff from WWLOS. And it's not only that, he's playing it in a format that I think really punishes crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's Conquest with no bans.
Where it's like you could reveal your deck
Yeah.
and still have to win with it in that match.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's really risky.
Really risky, but when it pays off, it's some great Hearthstone.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. A lot better than
Yeah.
the boring same old thing over and over
The
again.
tech
so.
cards didn't really even impact that match, but you know, let's say Ostkaka stabilized. I
Yeah.
think the Leroy Power Overwhelming would have won him the match.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
It really gives you it makes you a huge favorite in the mirror match.
Well,
Because
now
you just have that damage from hand.
now
and
we
they don't.
have him playing the Druid again, and Ostkaka's aware of the Ancient of Wars. So
Yep,
Does it really matter?
it
Like
does.
you just flick them when you're handlock. Whatever.
It's going to make him a lot more aware of how he spends his Shadow Flames
Yeah.
and his Owls.
Yeah, mostly his
for
owls,
sure.
I think.
Yeah.
Right. And we did see 2 Owls from Ostkaka.
Yeah, because sometimes handlock against Druid tries to go with like some sort of like tempo play with like owling a Watcher.
Yeah,
or
if
something
you're
like that. But
And I think he's not as afraid of dying. You know, like you said, maybe there's that 1x
Oh,
combo.
we have Sylvanas and Druid too. That's kind of interesting. I don't think we saw that, did we?
We didn't see it,
Yeah,
but
it's
I don't
pretty
think it's
standard.
too...
With the 2 Ancient Wars and
unorthodox.
with the combos.
Yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
put it in the slower one.
Sylvanas is like very staple.
Innervate Shade is really good against Warlock, though.
Yeah.
You can get it up to like a 7/7
Mm-hmm.
before they can really Shadow Flame it off. Of course, you
That
do
doesn't
have
sound
to.
so good.
You do have to attack with
Getting
it
it
right.
to 7/7 and then
well,
getting
you're
it Shadow
threatening
Flame.
lethal the whole time.
Yeah.
So as long as he draws, he actually decided not to do it though. Just gonna decide to curve out. I think he would have if he drew Wild Growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if he just didn't draw the Ancient of Lore.
Yeah. His hand. I think he realizes his deck is really heavy on mana cost. He's
Yeah.
gonna need to curve out better.
I like holding innervates till later game against handlock most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
Just like being able to have surprise combos and things like that is really effective against handlock.
Yep.
You can play a Zombie Chow.
No.
Nah, you just tap.
It kills actually nothing.
You can play it next turn while
Yeah,
you tap.
get to play it next turn. It kills that 1 armor.
Yeah? Maybe 2.
Nah, I'll probably play Shade. You could always innervate the hero power.
Yeah. You could
Yeah.
innervate
Oh,
swipe.
Here we go with the card.
The mind games.
Card
It's almost at the
looksies.
point where you know if WWLOS is hovering over his cards and taking a while, he only has 1 play.
The funniest thing is whenever I play Hearthstone and I see my players do this, they just go through all their cards. I feel like they're actually reading them, and I know they suck. So I play like just really dumb stuff, and
Oh, man.
usually actually capitalize on that. It just reminds me of that.
That's a fun game to play. Okay, so what he was doing there was considering innervating swipe, and he was like, "What's swipe
okay.
do?
Yeah.
4 damage, 1." That sounds terrible.
Does it? But the shade only gets 3.
It's one more damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta consider it.
Gotta consider it. Do you?
Did.
You did.
This actually sucks.
Yeah,
yeah.
Hero Power Pass is not the greatest turn.
Yeah, you really don't want to kill the Chow
No,
yet.
you can kill the Chow next turn. Like
Right.
you'd still gain the life back. And how about that? That is 2 armor.
Wow. The Chow will get the 2 armor,
Yep.
Kripparrian the Prophet.
Yep.
No 4-drop for Ostkaka.
It's really unfortunate.
Has to feel
Pretty
bad.
devastating.
The deck's like designed to like always get a 4-drop on 4.
Yep. That is the one thing they really want.
Oh, the Belcher's okay though.
Yeah, but you have to spend the coin, and then you don't have much else going for you.
You can't play nothing.
You know what you want to do is life tap to
Yeah.
draw into more, but
You can't.
obviously you have to play something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna see either coin Belcher.
I wonder.
Probably.
It's that or Sun Fury nothing.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
It's less
talking
appealing.
about bad plays, that seems a little worse.
Yeah.
Well, he thought a lot about this. Just really reconsidering all the decisions he's ever made in life.
Ah, big game hunter. I think he assumes his opponent doesn't run Rag or Boom because he has the Ancient Wars in there.
I think Rag is a good assumption he doesn't run. Boom might still be in the deck.
Yeah, Boom probably is. But
Doesn't
Ancient
matter.
Wars are often seen in like no big game hunter target
This
decks.
is a super easy keeper, isn't it?
No.
Oh yeah, you want it for the Drakes.
Yeah, the Drakes and taunts for
Drakes
pushing
are
for
a
lethal.
problem.
I think what would have been funny here is innervate Boom right after the PGH.
I wonder.
That would have been brutal.
Oh.
Yeah, he's definitely going to kill that 2-3.
Yeah.
Gonna see what he gets first.
Not so great. I think just Druid of the Claw was decent, though.
Yeah. Drew the Claw, maybe even just charge the Zombie Chow.
It
And
would
just
really
keep the Shade
surprise
concealed.
me if he kept the Shade concealed here.
Because his
Wow.
Ancient Lore dies on board.
The Ancient Lore dies on board and also, like, Shadow Flame here.
Well,
Yeah, but it's-
Shadow Flame isn't bad.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It really pulls it, but
Yeah, but you know your opponent had nothing. So why give him something?
I guess.
Like, Ostkaka's just looking for a reason to play cards.
yeah,
True.
that aspect is absolutely true. Yeah.
That wasn't really like the most valuable Shadow Flame though, because like he played Ancient Allure.
Right, but he got to Psycho Mortal Coil, he got to keep a board clear, he's at high health.
I think the more you do this game of where you pick cards out of your hand and play one after a while, the less effective it is.
Yeah.
This guy's like, how many good cards does he have when he actually plays Druid of the Claw on 6 mana?
Yeah. Well, the BGH, pretty unfortunate since Boom probably going to come down soon.
You mean now?
Yeah, probably. Could see Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I like Boom.
Yeah, me too.
Alright.
Swipe Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, it's gonna be attack first though, because you might lose that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back face, swipe, chow. Actually, no, it's let's read what Sludge Belcher does.
Oh man, gotta rope that Big Game Hunter. Nah. Gonna end our misery, it looks like.
Alright. And we didn't actually read what any of the cards did.
Wow.
Wow!
The
That is the
actual
worst income.
worst.
Yeah. Out of all of the outcomes.
Worst outcome, yeah.
No, and like hitting for at least like 3 on that Druid of the Claw was really relevant.
Double S is
with
like,
the Hellfire.
man, Soccer Group sucks. Good thing I don't have him in here.
Yeah, that card was like pay 7 mana, deal 2 to your opponent. Leper Gnome does that for 1.
Huh. So as Ostkaka here, what do you do?
You cry a little.
Sure, after you're done crying, is it maybe, do you try and taunt up a giant, or do you play Sylvanas? Because you got to be kind of
Yeah.
afraid of dying pretty soon.
Well, you got big game once. It's really unlikely to get big gamed again. You know, Double S is playing a lot of like weird stuff, so he's not gonna be able to play 2 BGHs.
Mm-hmm.
So giant's gonna stick. I think anytime you know a giant's gonna stick, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see the giant come out in some way here.
I kind of like giant ancient watcher.
Well, I feel like one play you might have to do here is start tapping as
Yeah,
well.
the tap giant Sun Fury.
Half giant and a 2-drop.
He's gonna go with the
You
Sylvanas. though.
basically have to completely disrespect combo pretty soon. And one of the cards Ostkaka really needs to draw into would be like a Molten Giant.
Well, he's got 2 keepers, so he has ways to deal with the Sylvanas' effect, but he can't really develop behind it, so it feels kind of gross.
Yeah.
It's not really a creature you want to leave up against Handlock, though.
Could do something like Lotheb.
I must safeguard.
Yeah, and then he
Put
can't
him at
have,
15.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad, because then he doesn't have any ways to, like, practically use the Sylvanas.
Yeah, and then you use the Keeper next turn to silence off the
I think
Sylvanas.
this play is just very standard, very solid though.
Yeah, just going the safest way. Because, like, if you Lotheb, like, crazy things
Yeah.
can happen
Yeah.
still.
He's not even going to attack. Just that afraid of Moltens. He knows he can't end the game. And this could telegraph to Ostkaka. Well, it can telegraph one of 2 things. He has combo and he realizes he doesn't need any extra damage.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't have any pieces of combo. He's not even close
We're
to
starting to
killing
realize there's probably one piece of combo in there.
me. There probably is, yeah.
With this
it's
many
obviously
draws.
very likely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he drew twice off of lore, and that's been it so far. So 2 more draws than normal. But I know that a lot of A lot of games are lost in making suboptimal plays around combo when maybe your only way to win was to completely disrespect it.
Yeah.
I know I've lost games like that before.
Yeah, but what do you do here?
I like the Belcher because it sets up a very nice Hellfire on the board.
Yeah. Then Hellfire, you're still behind though, right?
Well, no, if you do Belcher Giant.
You
You're
can't
gonna
do,
taunt up a lot of stuff. Or just one.
you can't do Belcher Giant. You don't have enough mana. Giant costs 4.
Yeah, the
Oh,
giant costs him
okay.
4.
Yeah.
Which goes back to him not tapping earlier.
Mm-hmm. Well, one piece of the combo piece is acquired,
Yep.
so maybe we might see him playing a little more aggressively.
And
It's a good piece.
he's got
How much damage does he have, actually?
13 on
Is
this
it?
board state, because he'd have to silence off the Watcher.
Yeah.
Is he gonna take down the Giant? No, he's just putting the swipe damage there, playing everything but the Giant. Yeah, I kind of like this.
Febbing, yeah, to set up.
Yeah.
That's both swipes gone, though.
I mean, it does make Shadow Flame still playable, but then you do nothing.
Yeah, you'd have to Shadow Flame the Giant.
Yeah, I actually really like this because the 4-2 taunt is just annoying.
Yeah, really annoying.
You can Hellfire here.
I think you have to.
Yeah, I think that's the play.
It's just the same thing basically as Shadow Flame.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little worse. You lose 3 more life.
Yeah.
I think it's a little better because it doesn't use your second Shadow Flame.
Shadow
Like,
Flame
if you had
is a
the
good
option,
card.
I think I'd Hellfire.
Then you die to combo Innervate.
You do, but again, it's one of those things you're probably not going to beat long term anyway.
Mhm.
You've got Belcher Healbot coming up later. The only thing I really would have liked to see this game would have been a tap earlier, because it feels like this is going to be a game that he's going to need a Molten, just have enough power to pressure the
Well,
Druid.
if he did tap earlier, then when he Hellfires here, he could be dead to the combo.
Right.
So,
So he's definitely been playing around it a bit, and could come off the top at any time. Lore.
that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's
great
a really
call,
good
though.
turn.
So now the odds of combo increase, and
Yeah, you have
Ostkaka's
to
mind.
respect that, and that limits your options.
However, not hitting him.
Yeah, he's going to leave him at 15. Still kind of afraid of Moltens. If he hits him, then he could like double Molten Taunt, and there's no way he can beat that with his hand.
Yeah, this kind of telegraphs that he does have that other Innervate. Which he doesn't, but
How so?
Yeah, I just think he's afraid of double Moltens.
How does it
too.
show the Innervate?
it kind of shows the Innervate because if you don't put him to 14, then he's out of combo range essentially, but with Innervate, he's still within.
Wow.
That's really risky.
He does not
And it's
care.
just a tap and a rag, YOLO off the top, nails it. No BGH
Wow.
from his opponent.
He does not care about combo at all.
Sylvanas, boys.
Well, like I said, I think the game would come to this.
Yeah.
So,
Big risks, big rewards.
right.
Sylvanas Shredder's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
there is an owl.
Still.
Yeah.
Still pretty
I
good.
wonder.
I have no time for games.
Yeah. It's good that Rag hit the 5-5.
Actually, you could steal Rag if you had an Innervate. You could rat
Yeah.
and then keeper your own
Yeah.
Sylvanas.
Sick.
Which
I don't
would be
even know if-
terrible
yeah, I
because
don't
you
think
have
that'd
no
be
other
that
big game
good.
targets in your
Yep.
deck. And we've
Probably
seen
get
some handlocks run double BGH in the tournament so far.
Quite a few.
At least 2 that I remember.
Right.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a good read. We've seen a lot of handlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And BGH isn't a terrible card in handlock anyway.
Well, we know Owl's coming out here.
Yeah. Yeah, BG's okay. Like, it's often a decent Shadow Flame, if anything.
Mm-hmm. And since most of the handlocks aren't running Siphon Soul anymore, it's good always just to have your 1 BGH when you need it. So running 2 increases the odds.
Oh, and there it is.
There it is.
Yep. So I think the card he really wanted off that tap was Molten for 1, and then Owl for 2, and a 5-drop. So both players pretty unlucky on.
I heard the
different
owl
ends.
happen, but
Uh-oh.
I don't actually see the owl.
Yeah, the owl happened and the rope is burning, we can hear.
Uh-oh.
Ostkaka's taking his headset off,
Yeah.
talking to the admin.
Yeah, looks like we have an
some
unfortunate game
technical
crash.
difficulties.
I think
Oh, man.
I think this is maybe a bit unfortunate for WWLOS.
Yeah.
I think WWLOS was in a good spot that game for that type of druid.
Yeah, really good.
But at the same time, I think, if we did truly lose that game, then it'd probably have to be a remake.
Yeah, it could still go any
The game
way.
state wasn't entirely decided, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if combo's his last card and he just never draws into it?
Oh, look at you.
Oh,
Got something there. Thank you.
why, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I believe on a disconnect, unless one player has lethal, they have to replay the match with the same classes. So
Yeah.
we're about to see probably a restart of exactly that. And I don't think it's going to end as favorably for WWLOS.
Yeah.
It's still a
still
favored
Druid
deck.
favored.
Yeah, definitely still Druid favored, even though it
But-
is the slower variant.
That handlock draw was abysmal.
Yeah, so he was able to really punish that handlock draw. But we didn't see any Siphon Souls from Ostkaka.
Yeah, and the double big game actually hurts him because
Yeah.
it seems like there are
There's
no targets.
Yeah, there's no targets for
So
the
far.
big game hunters, and no Siphon Souls means no, he can't just eat Ancient Wars.
Yeah.
He didn't actually draw the Ancient Wars last game.
He drew nothing.
Well,
like-
yeah, Ancient War is pretty good there.
There's like 2 Ancient Wars, there's like combo piece, at
Yeah.
least one.
Just terrible draws from everybody. Get it together.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think they're still figuring a few things out there. So WWLOS is actually on match point.
Yep.
Even if he does drop one, what does he have to beat after the handlock?
Patron Warrior.
Patron Warrior.
That's going to be harder.
That's gonna be really hard.
Yeah.
Or Control Warrior. We actually haven't seen the Warrior.
Well,
But it's
it is-
probably
it is
Patron.
your teammate, so maybe you spoiled
Well,
something.
he's not my teammate, but
practice partner.
yeah.
Practice partner. Yeah.
He's actually subbing for us in an event, so.
Okay. As close as it gets to
There you
teammate.
go.
Yeah. All right. How do you think Patron Warrior does against that? Because even though Druid does quite awful against Patron Warrior, it does seem to be the big taunts that sometimes make the difference.
I think the initial impression was Druid was favored, and then as people have kind of figured out more patron lists, patron play, Patron's now the one that's kind of favored because Druid can't really deal with all the patrons.
Yeah.
The big taunts can help, of course, very weak to execute, so I think it all comes down to kind of the big battle rage turns and just drawing a ton of your deck to make sure you have the answers.
That really seems to be the key, because if you don't draw cards, sometimes you have to use execute on like just a mid-game creature just to stay in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably the idea, is he's trying to pressure him with the mid-game creatures and trying to force the tempo execute for the patron to stay in there. If the patron has kind of a clunky draw, then Ancient of War comes down and just seals the game out. Or the surprise factor of Ancient of War could have potentially gotten him a win, but now that's
Right.
kind of out there already.
Yeah, unfortunately for WWLOS, surprises are mostly out there, at least for the crowd. The funny thing is, Ostkaka didn't really experience much of the surprise factors. Like, they were held back in most of these games.
Ostkaka has no idea
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
any of them.
Except for the
besides
Druid.
War,
Yeah.
which is relevant.
Yeah,
Great.
that's what he has to face.
Yeah.
Conquest format, man.
Yeah, I think the Patron Druid kind of goes back to what Firebat was saying about the Rogue Druid matchup, where either the Druid needs a really good start or the Warrior needs to draw dead. And that's kind of the sum of the percentage of the Druid wins. So I'd say it's Warrior favored if Ostkaka can take game 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the general case, that is true, but I don't know. I feel like there's that added percentage where if you don't get that extra card draw, you have to burn executes early. And because it is that type of Druid deck, it's another win condition.
Sure.
Yeah.
So better than average, I'd say.
I don't know. I think the other types of Druid, though, that have the double combo have the ability to just race.
Did
Which this Druid, with only less combo pieces,
Probably one combo.
probably one combo.
Wait, I
has
just realized
a lot less
something.
viability
What's
of
that?
racing.
He never played a piece of the combo, did he?
No, not
Nope.
even one.
So Ostkaka might just not respect it at all.
He might think
mean,
he's
I think
not
that's what we're
playing
seeing,
it.
actually.
Yeah, that's the rag play.
Yeah.
That makes sense. He thinks he just doesn't
Zero
He
rag.
just
respect
doesn't
combo.
have it, which is bad for Ostkaka.
Yeah,
because
that's
he
bad
does
really
have it.
bad.
Ostkaka. Just being in the dark against that.
So he's gonna be happy. He's gonna be thinking okay,
Yeah.
now I know it doesn't have combo. I can just tap all I want.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need a taunt here.
Just YOLO rag.
Right now, we're just having, I believe, the referees check if it is going to be a regame. They're just checking the state of the board there. I believe it is going to be a regame.
I would hope so.
I would hope so as
It
well.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that there was a disconnect, though.
Yeah, it does tend to happen every now and then, though. It's not.
It's not uncommon.
It's not too uncommon, no.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the second match of this group. It's going to be the winner of this is going to face Roger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And loser faces Rainad.
Okay. Well, the regame has been confirmed. I believe the players will get to that shortly.
So
All right.
is Roger watching this? Is he able to like see, or is it kind of like?
I hope so, because that's a lot of information you might be missing otherwise. But I mean, I think Roger is
All players are allowed to watch.
absolutely.
So,
But also, Roger's probably one of the players that this means to him.
most, yeah.
It means probably one of the most to him, and I'd imagine he has eyes on what's going on.
I think despite all of Roger's great finishes, has he actually won an event yet?
No, I think
No.
he's had a lot of second and third places.
Second, third.
But it is a card game. I think in a lot of card games, often that is respected more.
Right. It is very well respected among pros.
Just
but
placing
for him
well.
personally,
Just placing well is a really big deal.
Consistency is like very high valued among pros, whereas like just winning one tournament, like people don't respect you as much for that as just getting second and third a bunch.
Yeah.
But the general public loves people that win things.
Yeah.
well,
They want
it is
winners.
still
Let's get
really
one.
nice to win.
He must be the best player ever.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how it is for most games.
Well, yeah, Roger's racked up more BlizzCon points than people that have won an event.
Yeah, in terms
Just
of
by
BlizzCon points,
consistently
we
placing.
talked about that a little bit. We got the rules here. Okay. Well, let's read this.
Judge Crip.
If either player disconnects from the game due to technical reasons, the following rule will be used. Lethal on board or hand that turn equals a win to the player with 100% lethal. If a player does not have 100% lethal, it will be a rematch. And I don't believe there was a 100% lethal situation.
There was not even a lethal situation.
Wait, so what if there's a taunted up piloted shredder? Is that just like you have lethal, but you have to get through this taunted up piloted shredder, which has like some percent chance to make it.
Well, that wouldn't be 100%.
That's not 100%.
So that's a regame?
Yeah.
That's a regame.
That would feel awful.
That would be really bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the thing is, you're talking about like a kind of bad, but you also have to keep in mind like the Doomsayer situation of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like you have like 1 million creatures on board with like 2 Savage Roars. There's like no way your opponent's going to survive. And then he disconnects before finding out like what the Wrath would have ended up the Shredder.
Yeah.
Like there's much higher extremes to being disgruntled in that ruling.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the BlizzCon points. We were mentioning that, in fact, Roger has some of the most.
Yeah. I think
Especially in his region.
around 160.
Yeah.
Wild Growth is a really good start for
Wow.
the Druid. A Big Game Hunter, also amazing.
I think
With
you just
Keeper.
keep that. I think you
And
just
Keeper.
Four keep.
No, he 3-capped and mulliganed into the big game.
Oh, he
hunter.
did. I missed
Yeah.
that. I missed the start.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. That's really, really good. He's got all the answers he needs to take this game.
That's insane.
Ostkaka has the 4-drop this time, though.
Yeah, but I think I'd rather have no 4s and him have nothing.
Yeah.
And you got the Ancient Allure. Like, you're not even running out of cards.
Yeah, I mean,
This card.
Good,
this
just
game's
got
gonna be
better.
I
rough.
think this hand is like one innervate short of perfect.
And like we talked about, the double big game hunter not doing much here against this druid.
Anything.
yeah. No Big Game Hunter targets was a pretty good choice.
Big game.
I think you just keep tapping.
Tappy.
Yeah, I gotta find something more. This hand's not gonna do it on its own. Oh, there's the innervate we just talked
Wow.
about.
Okay. Excellent.
Can you get any better?
I think Tharson would have been better. If you could innervate Tharson this turn.
That would have been pretty good.
That would have been the only thing that would have made this hand better than what it was.
Didn't have the innervate Thorson. Never lucky.
Never, after the Wild Growth.
Yeah.
Wild Growth and innervate Tharson. You didn't have that? Why even play Hearthstone?
Right. So I think we're gonna see Coin Hero power.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Good Wrath, but I
don't know. Cycling Wrath. Does your hand really need to get that much better?
yeah, you're gonna draw some cards.
Savage Roar. I wonder if WWLOS has paid attention to the fact that he has not revealed any combo pieces. It seems like he doesn't.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was playing around Moltons and stuff.
It's hard to like remember these very small things when it's your first live event, like,
Right.
as far as I know, ever in Hearthstone at least.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah, you're mostly focused on just not screwing up play wise.
Right. Well, I think not screwing up will involve a Sludge Belcher here.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see
Could
any.
see Hellfire or Coil.
Yeah, I like Belcher better personally. I don't know. Belcher sort of sets up your Hellfire, and then you can Hellfire,
Right. Hellfire
Coil
Dark Bomb.
or Hellfire Dark Bomb.
Sure.
Yeah, he's gonna go with the Hellfire Coil.
Taste the man.
Okay. That can do some damage.
That is scary. So he's got an Innervate. He's got a combo piece. He's got
Oh
another
my
combo
God.
He
piece.
can combo next turn.
He could literally
For
just
lethal.
hero power this turn.
For lethal.
I think he'll do it. I think he's just going to go slow.
I think you can swipe face if you want to speed up a little bit.
No.
Yeah, you gotta be afraid of Moltons, though.
Yeah, and that telegraph's pretty hard.
Yeah, what
What's
you're trying to
going
do.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the only problem here is, despite Ostkaka maybe not thinking he plays combo, he's a smart guy. When
Can you be that
hero-
smart? Like, you gave no credit for combo like
When
5
you
minutes
hero
ago.
power
Yeah, you just
And now it has to
dragged
be an
into it.
Innervate combo?
Yeah,
Right, but hero power passed on.
yeah. You're
On
just,
6.
it's
Yeah,
like
Ancient of War,
yeah,
Ancient
he's
of
got
War,
Ancient
Ancient of War,
Wars and
Ancient of War.
Lures, Yeah.
All right, I guess he's
He's
dead then. Yeah. How do you not Emperor here?
Yeah, you have to Emperor
Yeah,
and then
Emperor.
you're dead.
The Emperor's he's dead. If he's Belcher's, he's alive though, right? Yeah.
Emperor.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going for it.
Poor Ostkaka. He has
Oh
to
my
do
God.
this.
He doesn't think he runs combo.
He has to do
That's
this.
so punishing.
Wow.
Like, his hand would have been better without Emperor. Look at Double
Double
O.
O's
He's like, wow.
is hyped.
Absolutely wrecked, dude. I want to see Ostkaka if we can actually get some emotion out of this guy. A lot of blinks. I guess the blinks are the salt.
9 damage.
Yeah, he's blinking a lot.
23.
Wow.
That was barely believable.
Man, those Ancient Wars, even after they were discovered,
Yeah, those
they
Ancient
led
Wars
to the
killed
win.
him again.
Those
Yeah.
Ancient Wars.
The Ancient Wars led to him winning this game because he
Yeah.
made him think he didn't have combo.
Wow. That was strange.
That was really incredible.
Yeah.
So, Crypt,
you
you
got there?
think he's salty?
I don't
He
know.
might have a little salt in him. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We will see the winners face off against each other here shortly, and then the losers shortly after that. So it is going to be Roger versus WWLOS.
Yep.
Certainly looking forward to that. It's two players who brought semi-standard decks with some flavor.
Yeah, and WWLOS, like I said, kind of the underdog of the group. Into the winners match, one more, and he's
That
through
was
the,
really outstanding, though.
through the
Yeah.
quarterfinals.
It was really outstanding.
Yeah.
Some conservative play early on, but at the same time, the choices he made with the cards, I think, really paid off.
Kind of strange how like the flavor helped him in that last match by
A lot.
yeah
a lot.
leading him off the path of combo.
Also, I mean, that Shredder drop was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Mana Addict.
I don't
from
think
an
it actually
Innervate
mattered,
combo.
but it was pretty cool.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Well, I believe we're going to have a winner's interview here in a second, and we'll get to see what WWLOS will have to say. What do you guys think? You guys think you might change up your Druid decks from now on? Maybe see some ladder double Ancient of Wars?
Problem with Ancient War is when it catches on, it definitely has some hard counters.
Catches
Yeah.
off immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody throws in Black Knight for like an hour, and
Yeah.
then there's no more Ancient Wars.
Yeah.
'Cause that has got to be one of the worst feelings ever. But
Yeah.
the weird thing about that is like the only way to beat like them Black Knighting your Ancient War is I guess to play another Ancient War.
Yeah.
For them not to have
I
an
know you
answer to
mentioned
one.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the old way was you tried to bait it with your Sunwalker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because getting your Sunwalker Black Knight, oh, who cares? Got this Ancient War.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think Frodan is ready to have a few questions for WWLOS, and I'm quite eager to hear the answer. So let's get to that.
Thank you so much, Crip. I'm joined by WLOS on stage for the winners interview here. So in Group C, people were pegging 3 players as the ones to watch, and they didn't really pay too much attention to the WLOS guy who was in the corner there. But you came in as a dark horse, and you beat Ostkaka 3-1 with some pretty cool plays and some cool decks. So let's just talk about and getting to know you a little bit better here. What do you think? What inspired you to bring some of the decks that you have today here?
I consider myself a deck builder more than anything, and these are lists that I built along with my teammates and have practiced and played a lot over the last month or so. Ever since Blackwing came out, I've done a lot of experimenting with cards. I don't want to say too much, but Emperor allows so much that deck building has become fun and different again. So with that strategy, I just brought a lineup that I'm comfortable with, and it performed well, it seemed. So,
yeah, 3-1 victory is pretty comfortable margin here, considering that you're able to take it. And now you have an interesting match up against Roger, who's known as a standard guy. You know, people are saying that in Taiwan they play run-of-the-mill common decks, but they play them very well. So you're going to come in as the unique, weird, funky guy compared to the person who's normally playing all these kinds of standard decks. How do you think you match up against that? Is that exactly what you want?
I mean, I don't want to play anyone in this group. I have so much respect for Ostkaka and Roger and Reynad. It's insane. And I knew I was the underdog, and because no one knows me, and that's cool and that's fair. That's to my advantage. So I'm having fun with it. If I can pull off a win against Roger and Ostkaka in one day, then I'm pretty happy.
One step at a time until the round of 8. So I guess you're going to go up against Roger. We don't want to take too much of your time because we recognize you have to go to your match almost immediately. And so we are going to end this here. In the meantime, we're going to pass it over to Crip, who has lead paint on the couch, ready for a few words before our next match.